lot of space to hit it and miss hit it.
It's actually interesting to look at that super slow-mo. It was basically a left-arm seamer's delivery. The seam was in the position to try and swing the ball away, and the change of field you're talking about, Mark, that came out after the second delivery. So they clearly recognizing no spin in the surface, no purchase whatsoever. So actually to hit over deep mid-wicket and deep long on is going to be more difficult than mid-off, and that's why they've changed things up.
Shot. Cool. He's got a lot of it. Race to the boundary.
Yeah, we're talking about adapting to conditions. He's seen that Akeal Hosein, he's not trying to spin the ball at all. He's just taking it across him with the swing. So decided to use the pace, play the reverse and just deflect it between backward point and short third man. Quality shot.
Chips it over wide mid-on. It's a freebie really if you overpitch to players of this level. 10 from the first over, 1 down.
Yeah, this is nicely played by Rousseau. He's worked things out pretty quickly. He's got to 10 off the 5 deliveries, the 2 boundaries. There's a bit of Fred Astaire that's gone on to those first 5 deliveries that he's faced. So have another look at dismissal of Quinton de Kock. You can see the length just maybe bouncing more top edge. Unable to scoop it around, and he has to be on his way.
Next middle, yeah, lift up over.
Kisses to the sky for Akeal Hosein, who got rid of Quinton de Kock first ball. Sheldon Cottrell, the most tremendous character. I almost hope he does take a wicket just to watch the celebration. 50 wickets at this level of the game. And a great entertainer, big strong man, gets it down there at a fair pace. Left arm over the wicket. Who are the men back? Backward square leg and squarish third man. Hey, there's a slingy swinger.
Being on the button first ball there, Sheldon Cottrell. He was with the Desert Vipers in Dubai. And, came on the scene as a bit of a 2-length type of bowler, really good pace, bowled 2 lengths, really highlighted his skill over the last couple of years, as you can see with that ball coming back at Riley Rousseau.
Yeah, it's a nice round arm delivery, almost not nearly as bad as Malinga, but it's a bit of an element to it. Nicely punched. Reeza Hendricks off the mark.
Do you know, it's a great point for it. That's not far off Malinga. You tended to think that Malinga had his arm almost horizontal. It wasn't actually. It was about 45 degrees. Another look at that boundary by Riley Rousseau at the end of the previous over.
Yeah, there's also a good gauge of the outfield. The ball's just popped in the air, and sometimes after heavy rain overnight it can kind of stop in the surface, almost like a Balata golf ball, but that one bounced on nicely, found its way to the edge of the boundary.
What percentage of the audience will know what a Balata golf ball is?
A soft spinning one.
Long out of fashion. In fact, you can't find them anywhere now. They're relics. But you're right, soft and spinning. A slip in place, quite right too.
Extra to the column, talking about golf balls. A couple of years, father-in-law gave me some Pinnacle Golds. I heard I played golf, so he decided to buy me a 24 Pinnacle Golds. I had to explain to him that it might be a touch better than the Pinnacle Gold ball. Not too much better, but a little bit better.
Keep them for the long driving competition, man.
Wide! No!
Movement again there for Cottrell, just going away from the bat, but still manages to get good timing on it, Riley Rousseau.
And out as well. Rousseau slams it into the guts of mid-off.
Yeah, it's a good catch, and we also saw the salute of Sheldon Cottrell. He's got his first wicket of the day. Good length delivery. Riley Rossouw probably looking to go up and over. Didn't get the elevation he was after. This is a fantastic start for the West Indies.
Just looks, both these wickets just look like they're skidding on a lot. It's a seam up, skids on him. Just trying to hit it a little bit too square and it just skids on him. Gets it. Not enough on it. Straight to the captain at Pyle at mid-off. South Africa lose their second. 12 for 2.
Riley for 10, it's 12 for 2. So a chat with his captain about the field for Aiden Markram. 12 for 2 from 10 balls. You ought to be scoring at a rate a whole lot quicker than that. Great strike rate for Markram in this format, almost 150.
Everyone on the boundary and the banks egging Aiden Markram to run the single. Decided not to do so. Here we look at Rossouw. Maybe looking to go leg side initially with the shape, and the ball skidding on, ends up squaring up a little bit and slapping it through the offside, but picks out the fielder, and Cottrell. The celebrations can begin.
Brilliant, isn't it? Well, this is not easy to pick up, that's the thing. The arm's wrapped around his back when he reaches the crease to deliver it, and it's 12 for 2.
Context of the 11-over game. Cottrell's over, really setting the tone for the West Indies and pegs South Africa back. A wicket in both overs now. South Africa have got some mountain to climb.
Guys to come, Heinrich Klaassen, who's in golden form, of course, David Miller, Wayne Parnell. Well, you know, it's amazing over, really, from Sheldon Cottrell. Only one from it with the wicket. An 11-over cricket match with a 1-run over. Wow.
Yeah, I think it is a big advantage to have bowled first today, because I think the surface has got maybe a little bit more in it than what you'd expect from a Supersport Park surface over the years. It's not flat, it's not one of those belters. There seems to be just a little bit going on, and then you're not too sure as a batting side what's the ideal total. How do you adjust? And you've now lost 2 wickets. I think batting second, you'll know exactly what you have to chase down and what to expect from the surface.
This is remarkable, actually, to have seen 14 balls bowled and only 13 runs scored. And I think you're right. I think the ball is hurrying onto the surface. It's a very bare, firm pitch, no grass on it. Looks almost subcontinental, maybe like Caribbean. Oh no! Cottrell looks as if the world suddenly turned against him.
The ball hadn't even got anywhere near the boundary, and he's really looking for the apology, the explanation as to why. Another left arm seamer delivery mark and give himself plenty of room, carving it from half a metre outside the leg side, looking to open up the offside. Doesn't hit anywhere near where he wanted it, but it just skids on straight past Cottrell. Nothing he can do.
So wary of over pitching the ball, happy to get it into the pitch.
Bowling seam up. You can see the just standing up on the seam, even that ball that went for 4. So it just nipped back at Markram and had a bit of extra bounce. So plenty happening in there, even for the spinner. He's adjusted well, not trying to turn it, just trying to angle and hit that seam.
Oh, that's maximum. No worry about that. Way back.
Yeah, brilliant batting from Reeza Hendricks, understanding that Akeem Hussain is just getting the ball to angle in. We almost have to call him a slow left armer today. rather than the spinner. And with the angle, it's short enough to just hit it up and over, not trying to keep it down, knowing that there's no one back behind square in the leg side. He just has to keep giving it the elevation. You can see that seam up delivery, and that's beautifully played.
What now? Who plays the guessing game best here? Reza Hendricks does. He didn't get all of it, but he got enough of it. 6 more. This is more like it. $30 for 2.
Yeah, this is the end of the power play. Just 3 overs in the power play for today's game because of 11 overs. It started off well for the West Indies. First delivery, the wicket of Quinton de Kock. It wasn't long after that, after a couple of good lusty blows from Riley Rousseau, that he had to be on his way as well. South Africa found themselves 12 for 2. But in a little bit of a recovery, mainly down to the last 2 deliveries of the power play, which were both deposited out of the ground by Reza Hendricks. They end up 30 for 2 after 3.
So Alzari Joseph now. A wicket taker, lively, springy pace. No problem there, you can help it on its way. If you've got any angle to work with, it's a big advantage.
Joseph, we know he's got some pace. Tends to get it a little bit wrong there down that leg side. Trying to tuck Markram up on this occasion. Just bowling one onto his thigh pad and Markram getting inside of it. Fine leg is up. Couple of bounces and 4.
Yeah, I think the key is the third man's up as well, so you're really looking to be as straight as possible. No one behind the batter. That's going to be a bonus as well, Mark.
The gods are with him.
I think the nature of the surface, because it's skidding on, I think it's quicker and getting onto the batters a bit quicker than they maybe would have expected at the start of the game before the first delivery's bowled. I think they need to, in many ways, try and use that pace. Markham played that first one well. And that one he tries to carve away, just the one bounce. I think nice tight lines and lengths might be applicable for the West Indies. It'll be difficult to hit if you just back of a leg, top of the stumps, and the ball's skidding on. It'll be difficult to hit straight down the ground.
Yeah, exactly right. Work with the pace, don't look to hit into the pace. That's probably a way to describe that. So now we do have a third man back. More orthodox field here. That was the end of the power play. Chipped over backward square leg for 6. It came partially off the top edge, really. But of course, with the edges of the bat these days, and that is probably the shortest boundary out there. But both the sort of backward square leg boundaries are relatively short. You don't have to do much to clear the rope.
And that's the length that's going to be difficult to hit. I wouldn't go too full because that'll come on nicely. And if it's too short, I think anything that you get bat on will just fly away because of the nature of the pitch and the bowlers you're operating.
Great cheers from the crowd when the announcement came that play would begin at 4 o'clock. I think they'd begun to fear the worst. Very high and very out. The calmest fielder you could imagine. Markram not timing it, almost like it was the bottom of the bat. Really cool under that was Johnson Charles.
That ball was a big up and under. You don't want to be catching that in Port Elizabeth with the wind. But at the half field it seemed all right. Markram is going to be 6 or nothing. Gets it nice and low. Toe on the bat, just doesn't get it. Charles runs over and catches it. And Joseph adds his name to the wicket column. South Africa 40 for 3.
So what's the conversation here? Do you think the dressing room has a conversation, or is there just not time? Do people just go out and do their own thing, or is there a thought? Listen, you know, we need to bat for, I don't know, 120 here, or 110, or 100, or does each new batsman just go out and play his game?
Well, I think everybody knows. I think the big thing is about adapting to the conditions. So I think that's the chat around it, saying, listen, it is skidding on.
David Miller.
Welcomed with a short ball, fortunately for Joseph. Judged too high, Din Palika. I think it's all about the conditions. Everyone knows their role and what they're supposed to do. I think it's just getting that clarity in terms of the conditions, saying, okay, guys, listen, spinner's not trying to spin it. It's skidding across the left-handers. A couple of the other seamers are standing it up on the seam. So how can you be effective? You know, using the pace. We've already spoken about using the pace, not fighting the pace.
Gorgeous stroke. Such a natural player is David Miller. I just want to pick up on that. So there is a conversation. They do talk about what each bowler's doing and how it might be best to confront him.
Well, I think with your analysis beforehand, you've touched on all these bowlers, all their variations. When they're under pressure, where do they go to? There we see again a glorious cover drive. There is space in the game, even this is a shorter format for a fantastic shot. Conventional cover drive. So you've got all the analysis. I think it's just what's happening on the conditions today. Yes, they've been under cover. There's a little bit of zip around. There's a bit of nip. What is the bowler doing on the day? Akeal Hosein, he's not trying to spin it on the day. So those sort of conversations. But all your analysis is done beforehand. You know exactly what the guy's doing. So it's all about conditions and playing what's in front of you at the moment.
Romario Shepherd, who bowled so well at the death, really, for the Johannesburg Super Kings. He bowled full and wide and stuck to his plan on most occasions, not every occasion, I have to say, but on most occasions, very well.
Yeah, I think also, Mark, if you look at the match, I mean, it's down to 11 overs, so you take off 4. They would be coming in with 7 overs to go. It's kind of 13 overs, 3 wickets down. It's a kind of situation David Miller would have experienced many, many times. So I don't think he has to overthink it. It might have been different from a planning perspective of trying to take on the power play for the South Africans, and that's why maybe Quinton de Kock went so early in his first delivery. But these guys should understand it now.
Well, Miller, of course, has had this most incredible year where his strike rate roared to 165 and his average at 60 in the last year of T20 cricket. That's included 103 50s, so he's just the guy for the job.
So there were 5 of the West Indies squad that were involved in the SA20. A couple of them played at the Highveld, so they'll know what the conditions are and where you've got to try and defend boundaries, where the easiest place is to try and stop the batsman from scoring. So there's a bit of experience in the lineup.
Wide, he does, yeah, it is. I'm afraid it's cruel because it's a good slower ball that outwitted Reza Hendricks, but you can't, no umpire lets you drift down the leg side. Big leg spinner, leg roller. I've expected more people in the ground, it being a Saturday afternoon. I guess more will be here tomorrow, and the weather was quite off-putting this morning. The rain was persistent and at times quite hard, and a lot of people would have thought they won't play. So they haven't come. It's still a good crowd, always a lively crowd here, really making the atmosphere of the game. Current rate of 10.5 and over, you feel they need at least that, probably a fair bit more.
The slippery conditions also underfoot and in the outfield. It's not a bad option from the South Africans just to back themselves, almost play a form of tip and run, because invariably the fielders are going to battle to pick it up, and once they've picked it up, there might be a little bit of residue or water on the ball, difficult to throw. You can see how this one's cleared the stumps comfortably.
The other point, Polly, is they're staying basically on the edge of the circle. There's a 30-yard circle surrounding the pitch, and you have to have 4 fielders inside that circle. And the consequence of that is they're all staying back and allowing the single 52 for 3.
This is the boundaries. So much room he's giving himself there for that in-swinger. And 2 different players playing Akil Sain 2 totally different ways. One trying to get inside it and go over extra cover. The one using the pace leg side. And there we see a little big swing and a streaky boundary and a glorious cover drive just to finish off those boundary highlights.
Have you worked in the T10 tournament in Abu Dhabi at all?
No, I believe it's frantic.
Yeah, I'm wondering what a sort of par score is on a pitch that's got a bit of pace in it. I suppose in Abu Dhabi they're slower pitches, aren't they? A bit deader. I think what a par score is here. 12 and over?
I would think 12 at least, especially at the half field. I know there's something in the wicket, but you've still got 10 wickets in hand.
Yeah. Here's Odean Smith. So even he bangs the ball into the pitch, and hurries Miller's shot, splices it for just a cloth really out to mid-wicket.
Yeah, he's very much a little skiddy customer. Sort of ambles up to the crease, but a lot of energy into the delivery, and once it hits that surface can come on quite hurriedly to the batters.
He represented Mumbai Cape Town, so got a bit of South African experience in this format.
There's a possibility. No, he hasn't quite got the legs. He just picked it up a little late, got lost in that cloudy sky, the white ball, and Johnson Charles, who then got the sprint on, couldn't quite do enough. He really powered those legs.
Now the breeze is coming from right to left on screen. It's not particularly strong, but I know when Markham hit his, I thought that was going onto the bank. This one I thought was going to carry comfortably, but as you can see, just dropping well short.
That's out, caught behind. It is. There's a little nick. Nobody knew. The crowd didn't respond. The wicket-keeper, Nicholas Perrin, just threw it up in the air casually. And Reza Hendricks is gone.
Yeah, that one didn't seem to skid through, Mark. That one almost seemed like it's stuck in the surface a touch. Hands for a little bit of celebration. It almost ends up landing on Odean Smith's head as he goes forward in the celebration. But there's no delay about the decision. Hendricks Senior comes to an end. 21 of 12 deliveries. That's decent in this 11 over contest. 55 for 4.
Well, have a look at the ultra edge, but what is remarkable on a different note, because there's no doubt he hit it, so let's focus on something else. What do you think the average score in T10 cricket is?
Go with 135.
Yeah, I would have gone with 130. What do you think?
I would say that's too high. I'd go about just over 100.
Okay, well, the highest score ever is 183 for two. But the overall average is 112.
There's been a few times they've been bowled out as well in 10 overs. Didn't manage to bat. I promise you. You have a look. I bet you it's happened more than 5 occasions.
Sure, you're right. Heinrich Klaasen in great nick. Played brilliantly the other day in the ODI. Was man of the match, joint man of the series, wide called against that ballooning tennis bally type bouncer. Careful of bowling short at Heinrich Klaasen.
You see the wicket, two-trick pony. I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. The first one was the pace, got a little extra bounce which he skied. This one into the surface a little bit slower. He's through on his shot and grabs the bottom edge. Smith deciding halfway down is the right method on this track. Running in here, hitting a hard length. Strong man, bowls a heavy ball.
Such a different game now, you know, in the early days of trying to work out how best to restrict stroke playing batsmen. You bowl full and you set your field straight. Nowadays you see more sides banging into the pitch, either at pace or taking all the pace off the ball, setting the field squarer. The two there, it could be Klaasen is sprinting back and will make it comfortable.
Yeah, that's nice running from David Miller and Klaasen. So good understanding from David Miller. You don't always have to bludgeon it and seek out the boundaries. Sometimes just how hard you manage to place the ball towards the inner circle can mean you can get back for the second. Exactly what he's done there.
Miller was suddenly throwing himself as if he was looking to save his life. 6 gone, 60 for 4.
Change of bowling, left arm. Dead. Dead, left arm.
Slipping and a sliding, which one just gets in nice and safely. 6 overs gone, 60 for 4 it is. And there's a look at the projected. So Neil Mackenzie was saying just over 12 and over the 120 mark. 14 and over gets him to the 130. Chris Morris is alongside me, also Ian Bishop. Chris, let me ask you for straight away, what is your call about this total? What are you predicting?
Yeah, look, I think I'd be upset if they're unhappy with anything under 125. Obviously looking at 130 plus would be ideal. But in saying that, the West Indies have been unbelievable in their opening overs. The fielding's been good. They've taken the opportunities. That's what's most important for me. That when the chances come, they've taken it. And South Africa under pressure straight away into this game, and got to do a bit of rebuilding. Not much time, but rebuilding has to happen.
I'll remind people this is a ground that Chris has played a great deal at, so there's some knowledge from years of working at Supersport Park over the years. Ian Bishop, good afternoon. What are your thoughts?
Good afternoon, Chris. Good afternoon, Mike, and hello, everyone. Yeah, I think we've seen T10 being played in the Emirates, and the scores can range from anywhere from 90 to 160, 170. This is a different skill level, but the West Indies have pouched a couple of wickets. Robin Powell will be pleased with that. He knows 10 over cricket, in this case 11 over cricket, as well as anyone.
Oh, there's another one. Cottrell's got the big salute out again. We love seeing that salute. What a character he is. Klaasen has been in ridiculous form over the last little while, but not today.
Yeah, Heinrich Klaasen would be upset with that dismissal. A little bit of width offered by Sheldon Cottrell, and a shot that he's been so good at over the last couple of months. Slicing it straight to point, and a good solid catch. Not easy to pick up here at Supersport Park with that grass embankment. Solid catch by Johnson Charles yet again. He's been good in the field. That's South Africa under pressure yet again. Rebuilding. They need all their experience at the back end of this innings. Heinrich Klaasen goes for 1 off 2. South Africa 61 for 5.
He sure puts a big effort into the last bit of that salute. Does Sheldon Cottrell? Why not? 2 for 3 he's got at this stage, and 5 down South Africa. Halfway through the 7th over.
I think what's instructive, though, are a couple of things with regards to wicket taking for Cottrell. He always seems to get one early.
That'll be bowled again.
And he did get that breakthrough early, and then he's compounded it by getting class and compounded it for South Africa. And what you will see is a number of these bowlers bowling to their field sets with 3 deep fielders leg side. You saw Odean Smith bowling into the pitch. If you're going to go full, you have to go wide, not straight, because you can get hit over mid-off.
Parnell. He's hit that nicely. Solid blow on the bounce.
I think this will be a really good test for Wayne Parnell, especially at the back end of an innings. He's got a little bit of time to get himself in. He is known for hitting the long ball, but he's got to build this partnership up with Dave Miller. And Dave's obviously the experienced one. He needs to stay there at the end and get South Africa to a competitive total.
Exactly right. He is key, David Miller. He can be so dangerous in the shorter form, the shortest form. This is shorter than normal. Work to be done. Going to be the single. Parnell's a free-flowing batsman. Was on the sidelines for a while, Parnell, with that groin strain of the SA20. There's a look at the revised playing conditions. Been reduced to 11 overs per side, in case you're just joining us. Power play overs 1 to 3. 4 bowlers can bowl a maximum of 2. 1 bowler can bowl a maximum of 3. Last ball of over number 7. Only 4 from at this stage. It's going to be 5 at the end. Oh, and that would have been close as well. Had to get the dive outs. But David Miller, they didn't want to lose him. That's for sure. 5.
Clever thinking from Wayne Parnell trying to run it down on the 3rd man, but David Miller, athletic as ever, making his ground. If anyone knows David Miller, he's quick. He would have found himself wanting there. If you don't know David Miller, he's changed his gloves, but it doesn't surprise me if he changes his shirt as well with that rig.
Yeah, he wasn't behind the line actually when that throw came in, so had there been connection with the stumps, he would have been on his way, and that would have been 6 down. 65 for South Africa. Certainly would have expected Wayne Parnell to be out there at this stage. 4 overs to go now. 11 overs aside. 12 and 0 from here gets him to only 113. Got to start nailing some boundaries. South Africa, Parnell can do that. Controlled shot to the sweeper. It's just going to be 1. Shorter boundary that side.
I think it's clever captaincy bringing Joseph back into the attack. He's been their key bowler this whole series, this whole tournament since I've been in South Africa. He's been the key. And you want to strike now, get one of these 2 guys out, and you're into the bowlers for South Africa. So very tactically, very good from Rovman Powell, bring his big dogs on to get rid of South Africa's last big dog.
Nicely bowled again.
No!
Again, just the single. A little bit quiet at the moment in the crowd. Well done to all these people that stuck around when this rain was falling early today. Great to see this crowd in. We're intent on seeing a good, fun game of cricket. Right out of the middle. West Indies have certainly got the upper hand at the moment.
Yeah, it's been impressive. Only 6 4s and 2 6s so far, and largely that has come because guys like Shepherd and Odean Smith and Sheldon Cottrell, now Alzarri Joseph Lakil Hussain, have bowled to their fields largely. You're going to get hit over that deep fielder at some point, but make sure that even if it's a bad ball, it gets hit towards those deep fielders, mid-off dropping back to long off. So it means he has the option of going into the pitch or going full protection down the ground.
third man inside the circle. Nice and full. Thinking about two. Parnell's calling him through quickly. Miller had to get the skates on.
It's an aspect of the game that so far in these overs, the West Indies have been better in the field. At times, some of them were poor in the ODIs. Smart from Nicholas Pooran to allow the throw to come in. Would it have been tight? Now you would have been home.
Now, is that a boundary? No, it's not. The last boundary was in the 4th over. Good work for the West Indies.
And it's been quite interesting to see the difference in length that the West Indian bowlers have bowled. When they have gone short, that's been with intent. They've hit the back of a length hard. And it's quite difficult to score at SuperSport Park to come in straight away and hit that back of a length out of the ground. And when they have adjusted their length, the execution has been very good. Yes, the odd wide, that'll happen in T20s, but the execution has been excellent so far in this game.
Leg side, but Canning into that pad. No run off the last ball. 6 only off it. 71 for 5. So look at the card. Ducock, first ball. Hendricks, 12 balls for 21. Rousseau, caught by Powell off Cottrell, who's disappointed when he got out. West Indies were delighted, of course. He's a power hitter, dangerous player. 7 balls for 10. Markham didn't get going. 9 balls for 14. Miller not out 16 at the moment. His name looms large. 8 overs gone. Just 3 overs remaining now. Got to go big, South Africa. Hit that well. He's hit that beautifully. That's gone. That is a beautiful shot for half a dozen. What a fine strike that is. They need more of that, South Africa.
That's a David Miller special. Freeing those hands, opening those shoulders and using the pace. Flicking it into the nets at SuperSport Park. That's a big hit in any stadium in the world. Is this the over that South Africa needs? Is this the over that gets them going? Get them to that total. Using the pace beautifully, David Miller. And that's an absolute monster at SuperSport Park.
It's probably the one area you don't want to bowl at David Miller, to allow him to hit the ball maybe long on or square or mid-wicket. So if you're going to bowl full, I think you want to hide it outside the off stump if you go full. Doesn't mean that he has to go full. Get him off strike and bowl at Parnell is another option.
New balls selected. 1 ball into over number 9 at the moment. KFC, of course, are the sponsors of this T20 International tournament. There's the KFC bucket. He's going to have to bowl that one again. Fry Hard fans can play the KFC Fry Hard AR game and stand a chance to win tasty KFC bucket meals and deals throughout the KFC T International Series. Gives an opportunity now to go and join Pommy in the KFC bucket. Pommy, over to you.
Yeah, thanks. He's right in the bucket. A few wannabe seen. I'm sure they will be. But who I am with, actually, is Tony de Zorzi and Andile Peshluguaya. Start with you, Andile. How are you doing? Tell me, give me a score here. How many are they supposed to get? How many are you after?
I think we're looking at 100. If we can get 100, a few more kudos, David and Pani, to get a good partnership, and then we'll be good. Yeah, I think it's unbelievable day out here, Friday. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, decent crowd and a good view, I must say, from here. It is a decent view. Tony, how was it? I say how was it because you've played in the colors now. Oh, wicket. Somebody else out. Parnell nicking it through to the keeper, and another wicket goes down. 6 down now for 79. Yeah, big shots played. Always big shots played. And trying to absolutely smash it out the ground with not too many deliveries to go. A slower ball doing the trick. So, Parnell gone for 4. South Africa 79 for 6. Right, come on then. How was it? How did you enjoy? How much did you enjoy it? Andile is laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. He must have asked you the same question many times.
Yeah, I have been asked a few times, but I think for me, I really enjoyed it. It was special. I haven't played in front of that many people. The crowd in East London was special. Poch as well. So it was just exciting for me. I think my mom said she could see I was smiling a lot on TV. I was just trying my best to enjoy myself.
Dreams, aspirations, when when you're little and you want to play and then you actually get to do it. You know, those pinch me moments. Who have you told, who have you chatted to apart from your mom who said you've been smiling a lot?
I think Vandia, he's someone I always speak to a lot about like my batting and cricket in general. I have a couple of friends outside of cricket just to give you like a grounding, talk about those things, and they also chirp you to keep you humble, don't get ahead of yourself. But I think, yeah, I've spoken to a few guys, coaches back home in Cape Town, and I think obviously with the Netherlands series coming up, hopefully correct a few things.
Okay, and what about you and where you are with your game, injuries and so forth?
At the moment, I'm good. Obviously, there's been a little bit of niggles, but healthy. Hopefully, I can get an opportunity when I get selected to play and showcase our skills and talent. Yeah.
Nice shot, cut away, and boundaries are very necessary as we come to the end here. So important for South Africa to, what did you call them? Kudos?
Kudos, definitely. We need a couple of more of those.
Yeah, kudos, horns, big horns, and that means sixers are onto the embankment. There's another look at the shot from Miller, onto 27 now. Yeah, thanks for the chit-chat, guys, and enjoy your time here. I'll leave you with one thought, skin folds, okay? Yeah, that's all I'll leave you with. No, we might have to bowl that again. It's off the pad, actually. It's off the pad, and it'll go for 4. And it ends the over. 9 done, 88 for 6.
17 runs off that last over. That's given a bit of a spurt. And Pat Lakoya was saying 100 on the board. That's what he was thinking of. They need another 12 for that. I think he's a bit low, and Pat Lakoya. But his boundaries are needed, that's for sure. Anyway, nice to hear from Andile and also Tony. More runs, more tattoos, and more hair. Bish, that was what Tony DeZorzi wants for 2023.
I can understand the more here. He's not the only one. But the West Indies still have done well, and it's good to see Sheldon Cottrell will be bowling the penultimate over of the innings, because he hasn't been over his career what you'd call an extremely good death bowler. He's improved a lot in the last season and a half.
Cottrell now about to start his third. He's bowled beautifully so far. Slapped that one. Found the boundary as well. A couple of boundaries and a couple of overs now. Did that go all the way? Umpires having a second look by the looks of it. Want to do a double check.
Yeah, Sisanda Magala won't die wondering. He's a big, strong boy. Got a beautiful backswing. And he's got no time to waste here, as you've just seen. Beautiful slice. I don't think he intended it to go there. But at this stage of the innings, you swing as hard as you can. He had pound bounce, 4 runs. The length is vital here for Cottrell. He's got middle up in the ring. Uchitali's going to go slower balls, or maybe even to the leg stump Yorker.
Protection of backward square. West Indies will want to try and put a hold on these boundaries. Really fascinating at this stage. Best to think through the plans the bowlers use.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fluid. As I said before, if you're going to get hit for a boundary, get hit in the direction where you have the protection. No chance for a Mario Shepherd out there. I just want to see now where the deep fielders have come from deep point has come up. Sweeper offside, mid on, long off.
Oh, that's clubbed. That's X. That's flat. What a shot.
What a shot from David Miller. Absolutely smashes that one over deep square into the crowd. That was like a bullet. Straight off the middle of the bat. Yet again, David Miller gets going. We mentioned it before the game. He's the key man. He's the guy to take South Africa over the line. But yeah, extending those arms beautifully.
17 off the previous over. 11 off this, and we're halfway through. These next 3 from Cottrell are going to be good. South Africa need these runs. While behind the 8 ball at the start of this over. Short again, he's clubbed that, but on the one bounce, flat again. Straight to chase.
And that's 100 up for the Proteas. From the way they started, they'll be happy with that. But they'll be looking to add another 15 to 20 runs onto that total. Give themselves something to defend. And the wicket looks like it's actually playing pretty well, so they're going to be under pressure. Every run counts.
Slow ball, he's picked it up and he's hit that for 6. That is superbly played by Magala.
And if you look at it, it's such a beautiful swing of the cricket bat. For a guy who bats in the lower order, he's more than capable with the bat and waiting beautifully for the slower ball and smoking it over mid-wicket for another 6. Vital boundaries for the Proteas.
They call that a kudu. Why? Chris, why? That's hard, straight. That's another kudu, is it? Yes, it is.
And that's, as they call it, another kudu in the cricketing fraternity. If you look carefully, the umpire will raise his hands, shaped like a kudu's horns. Big over for the Proteas, big over for South Africa. A little bit of a momentum shift in this game. Missed his length. Just under Magala obliging for the beauty.
24 runs off this over from Cottrell. Certainly destroyed his figures. 112 for 6 now. 10 overs gone, 1 over remaining. What a shot. 3 sixes in the over.
I'm sure there'll be a yellow IPL team that'll be quite happy with what they see at the moment after their new signings hit a few big ones.
Yeah, good luck to him. Getting picked up during the week. Magala, wonderful. There's a lot of the work from South Africa in the 10 overs so far. 12 off this. That'll be the minimum. Their chat, I'm sure. That'll get them 124. They'll be thinking a little higher than that. Smith it is. His first over just went for 8. It's a little wide, but it's put away for 4.
It's very good. It's why David Miller is held in such high regard. Smith wanting to go full and wide, and he hasn't missed it by much, but the excellence of the stroke play hitting into the gap is something to behold.
.38 off 19 now, David Miller. Strike rate of 200. Slow delivery, helped over the top. He knew that man was inside the circle. 4 more back-to-back boundaries.
Well weighted again by David Miller. Slower ball bouncer, not the easiest to put away, but he's waited for that beautifully and helped it over short 45 for another boundary. And Bish, you were talking about his execution, bowling the wide. That's why it's so difficult to bowl to David Miller, because he has got the ability to hit you over mid-off and over cover for 6, and he's got the ability to slice you, so your execution has to be on the money. And as you've seen, he's picking up the short ball so well, so a lot of pressure on Dean Smith in the last few balls.
4 balls left in the innings. That's picked up and that's gone for 6. Being hammered at the moment. 4, 4, 6.
Got to pick your poison against someone like Miller. leg side deliveries or straightish deliveries are easier for him to hit over the ropes than maybe going offside. So pick your punishment. It's a lovely bat swing, and even though that's a slightly bigger side of the ground, no problems clearing the rope.
And then just in terms of lengths, yes, he was probably going for the Yorker on the toes there, but I just feel to David Miller, you'd probably miss on the fuller side than on the shorter side with that backswing.
And because of that, I think one option really is to have deep third back and bowl and still look to go full and wide. If he hits it over extra cover for 6, which he has done, fair play to him. I think they're doing that now. They're going to drop right of your screen a deep point. So the options here are to go full and wide. Well, it's a split field. Oh, mid-off dropping back to long off. Yeah.
It's long off and also long on back. Deep mid-wicket as well. That's where he's going, deep mid-wicket. Has he hit it well enough? I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. Catch is taken. That's relief for the West Indies.
And that's good bowling. It wasn't maybe as full as Odean Smith would have wanted, but he took him wide of the off stump, and Miller had to fetch him, to the disappointment of some of these fans, from off stump down towards deep mid-wicket, running to his right. Good knock.
Yeah, that's the knock that we've come to see from David Miller. Team under pressure, and believe it or not, he actually took his time in this innings. Of 22 balls, he took his time, got himself in and played some exquisite cricket shots. Very good catch from Shepherd on the boundary there. That's the wicket they needed. 2 balls left in the innings. If that went for another 6, we're looking at the 130 plus mark. But Bjorn Fontaine's come in, looking to do the job.
Really good 48 from David Miller off 22 balls. 2 balls left now. Bjorn Fontaine. One, 2, 6 for 7. Oh, he's hit that one somehow over extra cover for 4.
That is a phenomenal shot from Bjorn Fontaine. First ball up, knows he had to swing at it, but to get it where that was, from the length that he got, I called short ball before he got it, but for him to stand still and hit it through the covers on the up, exceptional shot from Bjorn Fontaine.
Not short enough. Mid-off has dropped back to long off. Does he go Yorker in this one, or does he keep him guessing?
Last ball of the innings. 18 from it so far. Big swing and a miss. That's where it's going to end. Run outs at the end as well. So 130 is what they end up with. Oh no, it's a no ball. It's a no ball. On Gani Jale, it's called a no ball. Obviously it was checked upstairs, and it is a free hit. Oh no.
A little bit naughty from Odean Smith. I'm going to tell you what, Sisanda Magala got called through for the run, sent Bjorn Fontaine back, and unfortunately being run out of the last ball, it'll be a bowler that'll be coming in to face the last ball and the free hit. Unfortunately for South Africa, I would have much preferred Sisanda Magala to face that ball.
Fontaine goes for just 4, 131 for 8, bit of drama late in the innings.
Yeah, in what should have been the last ball, I think Magala should have run anyway. Even if he got run out of the last ball, the wicket doesn't matter. So I think there was some conversation to run, but Fontaine was the only one doing the running. So good from Pooran. Unfortunately, it's a free hit. Henrik Nokia comes in. Just on an aside, I was watching them warm up, and in the ODIs, Odean Smith bowled a no ball almost each time he bowled the first over. And even today in the warm-ups, he was bowling about 2 feet over that front line. Create good habits in your warm-ups so you bring it into the game. That's one discipline I'd want him to learn.
I remember Alan Donald was so hot on that when he was bowling coach of South Africa. I'm sure he's doing the same with Bangladesh these days. So 1 ball to go.
I don't think Nokia was prepared. If you watch him run down the stairs at Supersport Park, there are a lot of them. He went running down and those pads weren't completely on properly. Don't think he was expecting to face a ball.
Just a 10-minute changeover between innings. Oh, big swing and a miss. Big swing and a miss. So no addition to that score. 131 for Raiders after 11 overs. That total is reasonable, 131. Really good comeback from South Africa after losing wickets. They were 5 for 61 after 3 balls into the 7th over. Good comeback. Nortje running off. He wants to change over quickly. He's going to have some work to do. As I said, just 10 minutes the changeover, so don't go too far away, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think the Proteas will be very happy with that fight back that they've had under pressure early. To get to 130 mark, that gives them something to defend. It's a very competitive total here at Supersport Park.
West Indies need 132 to win, obviously. They will have the 11 overs. The weather looks okay at the stage. Let's have a look at that batting card. De Kock didn't last long, that's for sure. Hendricks, 21 off just a dozen balls or so. Also didn't get going. Mark from neither. Miller was sensational, really. 48 off 22. Klaas and Parnell. Magala, that was a quick fire. 18 off only 5. But extras are high, 11. The extras, that won't help the West Indies, that's for sure. And in the end, getting to that 131 mark. 28, that partnership at number 3 between Markham and Hendricks was threatening. And a couple that didn't, in fact 3 that didn't. And then 47 between Miller and Magala. Just 13 balls, 47 off 13. That was absolutely superb. And the bowling.
Yeah, Sheldon Cottrell picking up a couple of wickets, and he usually does get one early. He didn't disappoint today. Akeal Hosein also picked up an early wicket. There's a little bit of a surprise that Alzarri Joseph wasn't the one anointed to bowl the 3rd over. Instead, it went to Sheldon Cottrell, who's not as strong at the death. A couple of wickets for Odean Smith as well.
There it is, 66 balls. That's what it's going to be. 132 to win. South Africa have actually lost their last 3 T20 internationals at this venue. So they want to make sure they play well in the second half to get up and get the W for a win. Righto, the groundsmen are busy again. We're going to take a break and we'll be back shortly to see all the action in the second innings.
Very convincingly, the West Indies. High quality. That's how to finish it. very convincingly. The West Indies, high quality. That's how to finish it.
That's a look at the target that the West Indies need to get. 132 runs to win this one. 11 overs aside. And so it is 12 runs per over. Ah, here it comes. Our match ball. An unbelievable delivery, courtesy of KFC Delivery. Order in via the KFC app so you don't miss a ball of the action. Yeah, I look through the wickets. Neil Mackenzie and Sean Pollock alongside. 131's a lot of runs in 11 overs. As you watch this, Neil, it's about trying to access the boundary, isn't it?
Yeah, there's pressure of those 11 overs, really letting the South Africa guys go. Not too much time to have a little look. And tough conditions there. We saw a few balls skidding on, a couple bouncing. Spinners not trying to spin the ball, seam up.
From here,
Akil Hussain.
it is a decent view, Tony.
And a couple sitting in the wickets there. So I think South Africa have done really, really well to get to that 130 mark. Miller played some fantastic shots. I think with that power, it just feels like he can settle down a little bit. Sort of takes his time, the situation, played the situation beautifully. Bjorn Fortuin, last ball of the innings, thinking it's over. He could have had a free hit.
Final words from the skipper as they go out to try and defend the 131 they have on the board. Sean, generally we say you want runs on the board, but when it's shortened like this, is there a threshold? And I'm thinking T10, I'm thinking, you know, not T20 per se, because when it's 20 overs, many of the teams have learned how to defend and how to chase down whatever a big total is. But what about when it's just about halved?
Yeah, I think 132 is really good. I think South Africa battled to come to terms with the surface in the first 3 or 4 overs, and that's why their striking probably wasn't at its best. But I think the surface has calmed down. It's now had a roll in it, and I think South Africa have a good idea what's going to be effective from a bowling perspective. The West Indies, we know the nature of the way they play. They like to get off to a fast start and come out all guns blazing. And I think the key will be for South Africa is, can they pick up wickets? I'm having a look out there. I'm betting Fortuin. Yeah, he's given his cap to the umpire. So we saw him in the SA20. He goes really well at the top of the order, and he'll try and get South Africa to a good first over start. But Mayers, he has that potential. We saw a little bit of it in the one days. We saw a bit of it in the SA20. And he's the one I think they'll be fearful of. King played beautifully in that last one-day international, but his strike rate, not really of the capability of what Myers can be at his destructive best.
Yeah, I think King made the adjustment. Used to be a middle order batsman, and then adjusted when he went to Guyana, and they got him up front. That's where he made the name for himself and got into the West Indies setup. Strangely enough, Fortuin and Akil Hussain, same type of cricketers, like bowling with the new ball up front, try and squeeze out a wicket. But interesting to see that there is a right-hander, left-hander combo out there, and you would expect Myers, who's the left-hander, to be facing the ball, turning in, even if it is a skidding surface. So let's see how this goes.
Shouts of catch it, nobody will. It's in the gap. It's a beauty from Brandon King to start. 4 runs.
Yeah, a lot of movement, giving himself a lot of room. There wasn't a lot of movement from Riley Rousseau. It's almost like he didn't pick it up, but that one would have clattered into leg stump. And that's beautifully played, and straight away Fortuin under a little bit of pressure.
Goes leg side this time. It's a wonderful strike. 6 runs. This is exactly the start the West Indies would have wanted.
And that's why the right-hander's facing the left-hander. Eat my words. If you play 2 fantastic shots like this, first one gives himself some room, opens up the offside. We know Fontaine likes to skitter on. Next one just gets inside the line and smashes the maximum.
He doesn't pierce the field this time, but he's made his intentions clear that he's going to try and access the boundary. But what's been difficult for Fontaine is knowing which side he's going.
I think the key's been how he's cleared his front leg. I think we saw in the SA20 likes of Milan and Reza Hendricks when they first came to the crease, almost playing around that front pad. But from the outset, the first delivery, he showed him every one of the stumps and opened up the offside. And then even the slog sweep, he got that left leg out the way. So wonderful strokes for the West Indies and great striking.
There's more. Kyle Mayers says, I can do it too. That's the second 6 of the over. Yep. Get your hats on. Hard hats. Oh, I hope she hasn't been struck, actually. Hope she's okay if she has.
There we see the left-hander to left-hander. Oh, she has had it. Oh, hope she's okay. Turned her back on it. This T20 is a dangerous place to be in. Let's hope she'll be all okay.
That's gone straight up in the air. Keeper's catch. Takes it. Much action in over number 1. Fontaine gets one. He gets a Mayers. But not before 17 runs have been scored, and there's still a ball to go.
Now we go back to the South African innings, and the ball going across Quinton de Kock caused trouble. This one doesn't seem to turn too much as well. Similar kind of sweep shot. De Kock tells everyone to clear the vicinity. He's got it covered. And South Africa have their breakthrough.
My little cameo comes to an end. One shot and out, and I just thought that was an unbelievably good piece of bowling there. Tendencies to go into the surface. We know Bjorn Fontaine's nice skinny bowler, likes to cramp you up. On this occasion, you just saw a little bit of pace off, a bit of dip, and almost did it in the flight. Myers gets through it, gets a top edge. So it's all up. We've had everything this over. We've had boundaries, we've had smart bowling, we've had left-right-handed combinations. And there's still 1 ball to go. Johnson Charles. And how destructive he can be. Those stats don't tell the full story. He's 2 World Cup T20 medals back home in the closet.
End of over number 1. 17 for 1. Yep, you've got to take your medicine and think as well. You're not always going to be successful up at the front if you bowl the first one. And after the event, it might be the chit-chat in an 11-over game if you want to go with the left arm spin.
Well, we find 11 overs hard to get into the rhythm. Not the case for that young lady.
Yeah, powerful side. Good hitters in the side. Pooran and Powell. Mario Shepherd or Dean Smith, they smash it. They absolutely can. Here's Parnell. Banged away. Oh, it's gone a long way to the top of the embankment. Brandon King.
Yeah, this is quality, slightly over pitched, probably a fuller length than initially Parnell would want to hit, but there's nothing wrong. It's just totally impressive, the striking of King, just whipping it across to the leg side, full control.
Oh, just over. Same region. This time, it's 4.
King faced 5 deliveries here. He's going like a steam train. You can see all the analysts, all analogy that goes into the game. They know Parnell's danger ball is that one that swings back in. So how is King manipulated and looked for the opportunity? He's walked into his channel, got one that he picks up. Parnell wary about going too full, just drags his length back, and King picks up a nice pull.
Yeah, looking very full. Not allow him to get under the delivery. That's a fantastic start this for the West Indies.
You do think of individuals like Brandon King where RPL contracts are up for grabs. A few guys might pull out with injuries before, and just taking a claim, showing what he's capable of. Nothing wrong with 22 of 6 in a T20 international.
There you can see Charles just standing still, just waiting for a loose delivery, where King, looking to be a little bit more innovative, walks across the danger ball. He's seen.
What was it you said?
Rhythm. Rhythm is a dancer.
Yeah. Some moves. All the pace off it.
Yeah, comparison-wise, 12 for 2 South Africa were at this stage. West Indies 30 for 1. So already the required rate is a lot different to what was required at the start. Good start by them.
Shot. Beautifully done. Just opened the face to make sure it went in the gap, and it did for 4. 2 overs of 17 each. It's 34 for 1.
Yeah, the only thing is that question length here. Was he going for the Yorker? If so, he's missed it by maybe 1.5 meters. But if he wasn't, then that's just a bit of a freebie. With everyone up on the offside, over pitched as it was, it's easy just to open the face. You know there's going to be no deviation once it's pitched. It's too close to the bat. That's beautifully played.
Happy birthday. I think you might have to go and knock on the door. Sisanda Magala into the attack. He was going for the Yorker. He missed by some distance, but he hit the stumps. And he can smile because King is gone.
I don't think I've ever seen this in my life before, Pommy. Everyone would have been concerned about the heart. It would have been going over waist hard if you bowl that kind of length delivery. But the fact that it's dipped down and hit the top of the stumps usually means that it's A-OK. And to hit the bails, I mean, I would think that would be close to over waist hard, but with the dip, it just clips the top of the bails. And there's a wicket for South Africa. Eric Simons was the one who had this theory that you needed to practice that delivery because it was the hardest to hit. I'm sure he'll be ecstatic about it down either in the RPL watching from there, but that's one way of doing it. They're just checking things, and eventually the finger goes out. Brandon King goes for 23, 34 for 2.
As far as laps go, that's where you want it. You want it on the full. Those normally go for 6. On this occasion, he's just missed it. Lucky for Sisanda Magala. Below that waist and onto the bails. King replaced by Pooran. A hard-hitting left-hander. Look at those numbers. Strike rate. And there's the left-handed, right-handed combinations and options for the West Indies.
It's in the gap. Beautifully driven. And it's shots galore here. Pooran has come to the crease, and that's how he starts things off.
That's 2 freebies from South Africa. Parnell on this occasion and Magala on this occasion, excuse me, just the half volley. That's the ball you want first up. When you come in on a wicket that's a little bit lively, you want to be erring slightly short on this wicket. There is a little bit of nip.
Especially with the offside all up as well. No sweepers, no protection.
And that's up in the air, hasn't hit it well at all. Not going to carry to the fielders on the fence. But that's the length you want.
I think every wicket has a sweet spot. And I think you've got to be, as a bowler, running in saying, well, if I get it wrong, yes, I'm not a robot. I can't get it 100%. If I'm going to get it wrong, is it going to be shorter or fuller? On this occasion, on this wicket, you've got to be missing it slightly shorter rather than fuller. Just gets it nice and high up in the bat and evades the sprinting in Riley Rousseau.
Johnson Charles, we're going to unleash as well. And yeah, with the power play just been 3 overs, got to make sure that you utilize it. Have a look at the comparison. South Africa were 18 for 2. The West Indies made hay. Struck well enough. 1 bounce and 4.
Yeah, it looked like that was the variation, Pom. I'm not too sure if it was a change of pace where he rolled his fingers across it, but Pooran has hit the ground running. Let's have a look. Yeah, he did. Fingers across. 3rd delivery that Pooran faces, and his 2nd one that peppers the boundary. He's not holding back. He knows with all these fielders up, this is his opportunity.
It's just the situation for Pooran and the way he generally goes about things. Get a couple. Nudged onto that onside, and another one comes to an end. So the power play done. 46 for 2.
Yeah, interesting, this power play. 2 overs of 17 and an over of 12 gets him to 46 for 2. And it was the fast start by King. He didn't hold anything back. Myers just was there for the one good delivery, then he was on his way. South Africa thought maybe that was going to be where they could stem the tide. Not to be. King carried on his merry way and played some wonderful shots, and Johnson Charles joined. That was the wicket from Magala in this over. That means there's 2 wickets down, but 46 on the board means they're ahead of where they need to be.
Tabraiz Shamsi. He's into the attack, and he's good numbers. His T20 international career, best of 5 for 24, and really good economy of 7.14. Strikes. That's his job, to strike. Bang! And that's out of there. Oh, a crisp sound off the bat. Right into the arc of Johnson Charles.
Tabraiz Shamsi made his name in the CPL. Bit of a cult following there, so they'll know him really, really well. His stock ball is generally the ball that turns into the right-hander. Charles on this occasion just trying to get into side of his line, clear that front leg, and away she goes.
And that brought up the 50 as well, and the key for Shamsi is he likes to give it a little bit of air, try and hit his area, but if you go after him, what he tends to do is go a little bit flatter with his trajectory. That's what we've seen from the 2nd one. And that'll be the worry, because sometimes when he goes that route, he manages to drag down.
Smashed away again, and onto the bank again. Oh, these boundaries could not be big enough. He clears the biggest of them, Johnson Charles, and is making light work of these ones at Centurion.
3.3 overs gone, Pom. 5 4s and 5 6s, and most of the 6s have come off the middle of the bat. That is sweetly struck. Into position early. It's gone way back.
Didn't quite get that one. Excellent work. Excellent work by Riley Rousseau. Quick across the ground. You'd argue someone else there might not get to that. It might well have gone to the fence.
No turn on offer at this stage. So Johnson Charles very happy just to walk inside the line, line up those shoulders, clear that front leg, and go at the, what we'd say is the smaller boundaries here at Supersport Park at the Highveld as well.
Yeah, line good. Line right on the stomps there, and anytime he's outside, he can just get fetched.
He might like the relief of a left-hander at the crease just for one delivery, but the bowling figures 1/17, 1/17, 1/12, 5 deliveries, 15. None of the bowlers have been able to settle so far.
$62 for 2.
Here we see the 2 big hits, just missing the stumps. You can see he just gets into line with that front leg, a little push, waits for the line, and then just clears that front leg. 2 lusty blows from a strong man out there. Here we see the comparisons. West Indies going well. This is my question to the bowlers. If you're chasing 12s and overs, every bowler just knowing that his two overs have to be under 24, or you easy equation, Tommy.
Oh, through the hands. It was smashed. It's still gone for 4. And Magala has got an issue because remember, he's been out of the game, been on the sidelines because of a split webbing in that right hand.
Yeah, sometimes that affects your catching, Pom. You, as the ball's coming to you, thinking, well, how can I try and protect this injury that I've got? You can see the bit of equipment that he's wearing to try and make sure it doesn't split open again. But that would have been an ideal start for Nortje. Powerful from Pooran.
Edged and gone. Nortje into the attack, and he's got his wicket. He'll feel he should have got it the ball before. Burst through the hands of Magala, and this time into the gloves of de Kock.
He's been so good, Pom, hasn't he? There's the one that goes through the hands, and then the next delivery, it's length, it's good pace, and it takes the top edge. That's the one that blasts through. Made a mark on the cat in the background. You can see the disappointment. Not the next delivery. Just a feather of an edge. Easy catch for Quinton de Kock. And once again, we've seen it so often this season. He's been phenomenal as Hendrik Nortje. Every time he's introduced, he tends to have an impact. There's the ledge. They've got their third, South Africa. An important wicket. 66 for 3. Pooran's innings of 16 comes to an end.
Nortje striking nicely there. And we talk about matchups. There's a test matchup there. Fast bowler from the test side and a non-first class player. Hard length. Testing him upstairs. Almost trying to pull on the front foot and getting a little nick. The captain, Rovman Powell. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets the same treatment. A little question upstairs. Bowling 140 plus. I'd definitely be using it a lot more often.
one wicket keeping be too easy.
Yeah, Pooran. Not in any position, not in time. It was through him. Skids off the surface, and already Nortje, well, he bowls rockets. He bowls so quickly anyway. You might see a lot more of those back of the length, and you go ahead and try and pull them from him.
Yeah, I think when you're talking T20s, you're talking about big hitters, but it's still, you know, if you played a lot of first-class cricket, you know how to deal with, first of all, quality spin. When there's a lot of spin on offer in terms of the wrist spin that's around the world and why they've done so well, and then the heat, 140 plus. You're not used to facing this every day, day in and day out. It can be quite testing, so you really got to use it.
Two ball, and it's helped on its way. He's looking for any that are anywhere near full, Johnson Charles, because he can hit them a long way.
Yeah, one of that was the attempted variation from Henrik Nortje. It looked like a little bit of a leg cutter, or maybe like a knuckleball. That's why it was just helped on its way, sliding it down the leg side. It's beautifully helped. Also interesting to note is Pooran been out 3 times in South Africa, short pitch deliveries all 3 times, so no surprise they decided to go with that option. And what you'll also see on a wicket that's a little bit skiddy, getting onto the batters a little bit quicker than they expect, is often a little feather of an edge through to the wicketkeeper because the excessive pace that's on it. And we've seen quite a few examples of that tonight.
Yeah, and what you get, I guess, is not wanting to be predictable. 73 for 3.
That's middle.
131 for 8, South Africa.
Lift up over.
Miller, Hendricks, Magala. And then it looks quite comfortable here for the West Indies. They're 3 down for 73. They've whittled that down. That original rate was 12 and over. It's now just over 9.8. Because Johnson Charles has gone to work here. And he's still out there. Oh, nearly through him. Hoffman Powell looking to use the feet.
I'm just going back to Potchefstroom.
I know, I thought exactly the same thing.
Comes a bit early, doesn't he? Kind of easy for the spinners to pick. Anyway, they only need 58 of 35, so they can kind of be a little bit more selective. Powell not looking to be so. Charles, he's looked to attack Shamsi properly. I think he'll just keep going.
Yeah, Googly. Looking to take it away from Johnson Charles. In the CPL this season, 8 wickets at 12.5 average, that is, and runs per over 5.88. Tabraiz Shamsi has done well generally over there. Along with the batters knowing him, he knows the batters. So it's a good battle, and when he turns up to bowl, and he'll expect a lot from himself. Has he got it? Has he got it? Has he got it? Excellent. Excellent. Par for the course these days with fielders on the fence. It hit the bottom of Johnson Charles's bat, and he had been trying to will it over the fence, but it couldn't quite get there.
I'm sure they'll still check it, Palm, because of the timing of when the ball was popped out of Nortje's hands. There's no doubt there was some contact with the boundary cushion at some period, but it's just to make sure that before his heels touched it, He's managed to release it. And that'll be the worry. It needs to be a nice close-up because his heel was pretty close. This part is fantastic. No issues with that whatsoever. It's just the heel, whether he's released it before that heel makes initial contact with that KFC cushion. Is it fully out of his hands? Yeah, I think it's actually good.
What you often get in looking at those is there's also a shadow, and you've got to be watching the corner of the cushion to make sure it's actually moving and you're not seeing the shadow. They're always tough, these, for 30 TV umpire. And with these, the more you look at them, kind of more difficult it gets. You start to doubt yourself. So all of that is good, and the issue comes now. So the hands are going to go up now, and at some point it moves, and you have to be sure that the ball is out of the hand when the heel or the bottom of the calf then touches the boundary. And by all accounts, from what we're looking at, and remember, our opinions don't count. We don't have the responsibility of pressing the button. Right, on we go. Ball into the hand, and then down. There's the foot down, and let's have a look. Space between the boot and the boundary, and then it's gone. So it should be fine. Let's see. What do you think at home, or wherever you watch it from? And I bet it would depend on which side you're on. Sometimes it's what you want to see.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Everyone in the West Indies saying 6. South Africans are saying that's definitely out.
Here's the moment. What is it? Well, there you go. Supersport Park erupts because it's a man who's been doing damage. Johnson Charles, he departs. A good catch, that really good catch by Anrich Nokia. He played well though, Johnson Charles. Gone for 28. It's 76 for 4.
Smart catch there, and Shamsi just takes it wide, takes the hitting zone away from Charles. It's a smart catch, but a really good piece of bowling. We know Tabraiz Shamsi, when he goes for a couple of boundaries, he's got a tendency to go quicker, flatter. On this occasion, getting a little bit of loop, taking a little bit of pace off the ball, but importantly, getting it away from his arms. Gets it on the toe, and he's got a wicket for his troubles.
Mario Shepherd. We'll hold that again. It's a long ball.
Oh!
Just a single, and that rate will climb a little bit again. It was 12 when they started. And it's now up above 10 again, just under 10 and a half.
Important for the South Africa to keep taking wickets. Kia's got still one in the bag, possibly a third. And there's some all-rounders coming in. The pace will be the undoing.
shot. That is a seriously good shot. Rodman Powell. Oh, yes, it's left him flabbergasted, Shamsi. It's 84 for 4.
You're always worried about Powell coming down the ground to get you on the full. On this occasion, just a little set. Opens up that front leg, and that is an incredible shot. Back of a length, not an easy shot to hit that part of the ground. Shamsi's done nothing wrong, and that's why you see a little smile. The West Indies, 84 for 4.
Let's get to the bucket. Hazy is with the KFC winners.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I've got Gogo and also Zanelli alongside me. Right, guys, you've got the bucket as well. What do you think about the game so far?
I think South Africa has the potential to win it. Potential.
Okay, well, there's some optimism, Gogo. Well done. Now, Zanelli, you're with Gogo. You've got all the kit on. You're obviously a West Indies supporter.
Kinda, but I love them.
But hang on a sec, you can't say that. You got South African kit on.
Yeah, so I'm a South African fan. I love those boys. Those boys are mine, so yeah.
Okay, so get right on the front foot. What do you think about the game?
So far, the game is 50-50 because they might win it, we might win it. But if we slow their run rate, we're going to win it.
And Nortje is firing in at the moment. You know a lot about him. What were you telling him before? You guys were chatting about Nortje, about his pace before.
Yes, he has a really good pace and he has the potential to really do what has to be done.
He's one of those guys who can get some of the best players in the world out, that's for sure. He's bowling briskly right now. I need to find out what you're doing up here in the bucket, how you arrived up here. That just worked on the leg side. Gogo, how did you guys get up here?
Oh, actually, Sanele posted on Instagram and she tagged KFC and Cricket South Africa on her post of her and I on the photo, and that's how we got here.
That's nice, Nelly. So couldn't you find any other friends other than Gogo?
No, she's my best friend. We're from KZN. We came here together. So yeah.
Terrific. Okay, well, great. So you're confident South Africa's going to get up?
Of course I'm confident. I have to be. I'm South African, of course.
And how's the day been so far?
The day, the way that did dampen things a bit. We were not sure what's going to happen, but eventually it came through for us.
And in the bucket, have you enjoyed that?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm loving it. I got to meet Andile, so it's been amazing. Amazing.
The boys are at the back there, Tony and Andile. They're having a lovely time in the bucket as well. Let me just check what they're eating. Oh, yes, they're in the sponsors product. They've been doing that all day, I think, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Yes. And the KFC is absolutely delicious.
Okay,
crunchy as well.
Righto, guys. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for enjoy the rest of this bucket as well. They're going to have some fun. Gogo and Zanelli. Nice to chat to you guys. Let's go back to the commentators.
Thanks, Mike Eastman. 6 4, 7 6s so far for the West Indies. South Africa got 11 4s and 7 6s. And so often, Chris Morris, Mark Nicholas, they talk about defeating the team batting first boundary count, and a large percentage of the time you can find yourself out front. Hello to you, gentlemen.
Hello, Bish. Spot on. That'll be a wide. I think you're spot on there, Bish. The intent that the West Indies batters came out with, the way they took down any bad ball, any missing length, they took it down. And I tell you, when they took it down properly. It was some seriously good cricket shots, big sixes. And I tell you, that plays a little bit on the bowler's minds when guys are hitting really big sixes on a relatively small ground. It does play a bit of negative on your mind as a bowler. But the way they took them down was excellent.
We've seen, Mark, in this format is a good over or a good over and a half can sometimes change the course, the balance of power in a contest.
Well, the domination of the South African top order was really because of Sheldon Cottrell's over that went for 1 run and took a wicket. And he just sort of stifled the beginning after the early loss of de Kock. And that's exactly what this over from Nortje is doing here. It's ramping the rate up from in the 9s to late 10s and probably 11 if he bowls another dot ball now. Which he's done. Oh, there's a run out. There has to be, doesn't there? Well. Wayne Parnell had almost too many options.
That sort of moment, 87 for 4.
As you can see a little bit of a miscommunication there. I think Wayne Parnell tried to bounce it into Anrich Nortje. No choice but having a shot at the stumps. And as you can see, Parnell telling him to get to the stumps. That didn't look too far away. It would have been a vital wicket for the Proteas. A vital moment of the game.
Parnell was understandably frustrated that Nortje wasn't able to get. That's quite difficult for a quick bowler. You're bowling at 140, 150. You follow through to sort of switch your whole momentum and get back to the stumps in that time was difficult. Initially, anyway, Parnell thought it was a run out at the striker's end, not the non-striker's end. Anyway, here's Fortuyn again.
"17 off his first over, but a wicket in it. Brandon King took him a little bit to the cleaners. Deep mid-wicket, long on. Backwards square. And a long off and a straight deep extra cover. But none of them will be able to latch onto that. What striking from Rovman Powell. Powell power once again.
And an excellent catch in the crowd. That was absolutely smoked by Rovman Powell. We've seen in the IPL what power he possesses. And in the last ball of the previous over before this, he's hit one straight over with bowler's head, but that is pure power. Beautiful swing of the cricket bat. And in these short boundaries at Supersport Park, that's always going to carry. Wonderful catch.
Yeah, if he's full, he's got to be straight or... That's going. What magnificence, what elegance, masked by some of the power that we're seeing. The crowd is dead silent when a boundary's hit.
He played superbly in that first game, first 50-over game at East London when he made 40-odd, 45, I think. And he's a lovely straight driver of the ball. I felt this might be a pivotal over, number 8. The rate had gone to 11.25. It's back now to under 10s.
Got away with that at 14.
And I just feel every time the South African spinners have missed their length, the West Indian batters have taken them down. And, you know, with Shamji's first over, we could see he missed his length slightly and got taken down every single time. And yet again, as you said, Bjorn Fortuyn got away with that last ball, but the first two's missed his length and been put away. And unfortunately, when you're defending a total like this, you need to be on the money every ball.
Yeah, what has been good about Rovman Powell in recent years, primarily an onside ball striker, but he's opened up his offside game a little bit more. Still not enough, but a little bit more in recent times. And Shepherd has batted as high as 3 before in T20s, a few times at 5. They like his striking power compared to 1 or 2 others. Try to hide it wide, try to bluff. There's no one sweeping beyond the ring square offside.
And Bish, do you think the captaincy that's been given to Rovman Powell, do you think that'll change the way he plays the game, or will he consistently look to take every bowler down as he has?
100's come up for the West Indies. Good question.
Quite a harsh wide, that, I think.
That's gone. Such excellence from the West Indies captain at the moment. The crowd, some hands have gone to heads. Probably where the previous ones have gone as well.
And yet again, a slight missing length from Bjorn Fortuyn, but there it is, that power. Using those strong wrists, flicking it over mid-wicket, and that's a big hit from that length of a cricket ball.
There's the offside game on show once again. What an over for the West Indies. 25 from it. 112 for 4.
Well, as equally as a brilliant over from a bowler can turn one of these games, so too one from a batsman. And really, that should do it. I mean, he's 6 and over now, you know, absolutely fantastic free swinging of the bat. I love the way he keeps going through the shot. The hands and the bat keeps moving. There's no punch to it. There's absolutely, look at the levers and look at the follow through. I mean, it's a lot of dash in that shot. Almost a broken toe.
Keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes on it. Sheldon Cottrell will be feeling most pleased about that over, because that's now the most expensive over of the match. Cottrell went for 24. Striking down the ground was good, and then over the offside as well to complement the down the ground and leg side power. Brilliant. And Rick Nortje again. Be tight, he'd be gone. He will be gone. No problem for Wayne Parnell, as he made up for a little bit of a miss a couple of overs ago.
Yeah, maybe an unnecessary single
TV
at this stage of the game.
Give an umpire a view for a run out at the bowler's end. Can I get your best side on angle, please?
Yeah, I mean, they had the luxury after the previous over of being able to treat Nortje with due respect. I know that's nothing to do with the run out, but it's the same principle. But if you don't lose wickets, you're going to win the game easily, comfortably. If you do, and you keep getting new batsmen in, it's a bit stickier.
On the big screen out. And yeah, as you said, Mark, it's maybe an unnecessary run at this stage of the game. You're well ahead of it. Maybe trying to get Robin Powell on strike to finish the game early, but beautiful throw by Wayne Parnell. Bullseye had an opportunity in the over before. That's a lovely throw by Wayne Parnell. Lovely run out. Romario Shepherd goes for 3 or 6. The West Indies 112 for 5.
Well, this is the third over from Nortje, so they can bowl 2 overs each, except one bowler can bowl 3, and he's the chosen one. Just play him sensibly, don't let him pick up another wicket or 2, and the game's in their gift.
"19 from 16 with 5 wickets in hand." You'd think as a batting unit you can see light at the end of a tunnel, but you always have to be on guard for a high quality over somewhere. Powell knows that once he's there at the end, his team stands a good chance. Odean Smith with Roston Chase available to come, Sheldon Cottrell, Akeal Hosein, Alzarri Joseph, not necessarily in that order.
I thought it was an interesting decision to send Odean Smith though, not knocking his ability with the bat, but I thought Roston Chase should be the one to come out. It's a more known batter. Man's got Test 100, so he knows how to play and see out a T20 game. So a little bit confused, but see how Smith goes.
Just to your point about Robin Powell, he's a seasoned campaigner now. He captained the Jamaica Talawas to the CPL title last season. He captained the team in the ILT20 in the Emirates with some controversy a couple of months ago. And he's captained the West Indies in 50 over cricket and the T20 international against New Zealand last year. So it's nothing new to him. And this is probably his strongest format.
He's with the Delhi Capitals too, isn't he, in the IPL? And Ricky Ponting gave him quite a shout out in an interview he did yesterday about the people in the middle order that could, you know, fill those shoes of Rishabh Pant, who's obviously injured after the car crash.
And I think we're, you know, Robin Powell's been in the IPL circuit for quite a while. He was originally with the Mumbai Indians, coming across to Delhi Capitals. He played an innings last year, I think it was against the Rajasthan Royals, where he almost won the game for his team in the final over, taking down Obed McCoy. And I think that's where I really stood up and noticed him and realized how much power the man's got. And you know, to see him play the way he has in South Africa and the way he's doing it tonight, it's a testament to what Ricky Ponting said.
Still work to be done. Magala and Parnell with overs remaining. maintain. Dot ball, more importantly.
Yeah, de Kock did well on a couple of counts there. One was gathering the ball with a leap away to his left and then spinning and releasing it, because they were definitely thinking of the run. See the non-striker, he fancies it, and then de Kock makes sure it can't happen. He's at his back, I think.
Last ball. Very good over from Anrich Nortje, 115 for 5. Just 3 off this over, but high speed.
Yeah, we've come to a custom of Anrich Nortje bowling at high speeds, bowling really quickly, and today he's been excellent. Hitting that hard back of a length consistently, and clearly been South Africa's best bowler today, not just tonight, but over the whole summer. He'll be vital going forward for South Africa in the future.
Big discussion, heads of parliament discussing who bowls the next over. It was going to be Wayne Parnell, now it's Magala. How much of a blessing is it to have other leaders apart from the official captain? Can it be too much information, or do you require all the input that you need, that comes your way?
Well, look, speaking from a bowling point of view, it's always nice to have quite a few guys around you. Obviously, your captain makes the final decision, but when you've got a few guys, I mean, David Miller's captain South Africa in a number of occasions. You've got Aiden Markham, who's obviously been around for the circuit for quite a while. Wayne Parnell, who's captain in the SA20. Reza Hendricks has been around. So you've got a lot of heads around you to give you different inputs and different ideas. End of the day, the captain comes out and makes the right decision. But I think it's important for Aiden Markham, as it being his first real series as a South African captain, to have some experience around him.
One is plenty. One lieutenant is plenty. You don't want the kitchen cabinet there.
I was about to say 4 deep fielders leg side, which is 3 more than your 1, Mark Nicholas. So it to a large extent, as we look at this field, as we scan the field, it gives us a good indication as to the line of the bowler, if not the length, right of that fielding graphic. Keep your eye on it. And just the 1 deep fielder offside.
Yeah, and Sisanda Magala is known for his Yorkers. He spears them in at leg stump. He's been doing it season in, season out in South Africa. And he's very good with that slower ball. And as you're saying, he's got short, fine leg coming into the circle. Maybe change of tactics, maybe looking to change that line of Yorker. But watch out for that slower ball. He's got the big dipping slower ball with that whipping action of his.
Very nice, very nice. You look at Odean Smith and you see the big shoulders and the powerful upper body, and that was some grace.
Oh, that is a fantastic shot. As Magala ran in, I thought if he could just restrict the boundaries for 3 balls here, build just a bit of heat on the batsman, a bit of pressure, a bit of this isn't so, but that is a fantastic shot. Any player from any age would be pleased with that.
Saw him hit an extra cover drive over extra cover onto the roof of Sheldon Cottrell's car parked beyond the fence at Savannah Park. Magala strikes back, lights are on, the crowd is alive, Smith is gone.
Sisanda Magala doing the business for South Africa here. Trying to stick the West Indies, and that's a vital wicket. More importantly, it's a dot ball. And at this stage of the game, it's important when the batsman misses, you need to hit those stumps, and hit those stumps, he's done. Odean Smith maybe waiting for a slightly fuller ball, but a good adjustment from Sisanda Magala hitting the top of the stumps. Is that a little bit of pressure back on the West Indies?
Well, I think there's always pressure when you leave the dugout. If there are runs needed, and 12 runs is 12 runs, you know, 9 balls, they should win the game with 4 wickets in hand. But this isn't easy to come in. Magala's accurate. He works on the you miss, I hit basis. He'll bowl straight, mainly full. His changes of pace are good. I think the idea of a left-hander coming in is not a bad idea. I was with you about Roston Chase, actually. I think he was the guy to play for Rodman Fowl. But anyway, Rodman has to watch for non-strikers now, as Akil has just got to get bat on ball, really, and get his captain on strike.
How many does Sisanda Magala, or how much is he able to leave for, I assume it'll be Wayne Parnell in that last over? How many can you leave him with 12 required from 9?
Speaking from experience, anything under 12 is serious pressure as a bowler. But in saying that, if you defend anything under 12, I think you go into the last over with 12 on the board going, well, I'm not expected to defend this. And if you do, you look like a hero. And if not, you go, oh, well, we should have done slightly better. But an opportunity to be a hero. I've seen 3 runs defended once in the final over. So anything can happen in this beautiful game we love.
The same. Should be gone. This will be, should be, is 2-2. Has Nokia and Magala changed the game?
Well, the other point here is if you get out like that, the batsman, the old days of crossing and Powell getting on strike are long gone. Nowadays, the new batsman faces the next ball, whether the batsmen have crossed or not. So Roston Chase will come in and hopefully provide a calm head for his captain.
Adjustments again from Sisanda Magala in the short ball. Clever bowling. Quinton de Kock making that a lot harder than it should have been, but a great catch from the South African keeper. Akil Hussain goes for 0. 1 ball. West Indies 120 for 7.
Into the pitch, 2-2 for Magala. Hiso Rabada, the only South African to take a hat-trick in this format against England at Sharjah.
Well, he's a candidate. He'll bowl it full and straight. I'm pretty sure of it. Roston Chase plays a bit from the crease. You want to try to hit him on the pads first ball if you could.
Is that a hat-trick? They're going to review it.
Again, another adjustment in from Sisanda Magala. Could this be the second hat-trick for South Africa in T20 cricket?
Player review for court. On-field decision is not out. I've checked the front foot. It's a fair delivery. Please start front on spin vision.
Well, it certainly hits some arm. I'm sure it hit some arm, but did it hit glove first? Did it run from glove onto up onto arm?
Yeah, the ball's close to the bat. Can I go to Ultra Edge just to confirm whether it's bat or no bat, please? Just waiting for Ultra Edge there. Odin. Keep going forward for me, please. Just keep going forward. Keep going forward to clear a gap between bat. We'll just roll it forward to the arm. Yes, no bat involved. Paddies, you can stay with your original decision of not out. Stand by.
Good umpiring, eh? When all of South Africa's players on the field thought the opposite. The umpire stood firm, but an outstanding over. Only 5 off it so far and 2 wickets. Still 12 required. Use the short ball very well.
I feel this is one of the biggest balls of the game in the context of the game.
That will run away for 4 fortuitously, but the West Indies will take it. 1-2-4 for 7.
Sander Magala back in that short ball. As Bichette, slightly fortuitous. Could have gone anywhere, not in control of that. But a big boundary for the West Indies going into this last over. 8 needed. Wayne Parnell's the man. Can he defend it?
Last over, I've seen several 11-over contests over the years, and each of them have provided tension, excitement, and loads of action to remember. Yeah, we see you too.
Well, this is another then. This crowd is just all over it. The noise out there has been phenomenal. Tension now. Amazing, isn't it? What this short formats have done for the game. How they inspire such intense embracement really from the crowd, intense involvement of the crowd.
I wonder if it's in the future of the game generally. You're right about the crowd. They've been electric when South Africa have done well and the West Indies have done well. Here the pin drop.
Well, I guess Wayne Parnell's going to mix his pace up, get into the pitch with cutters, try to bowl the full Yorker, but he's got a guy in prime form here. Rothman Powell, 36 from 15 balls, a 6 of 4 fours. You'd back him.
He's going to go full and wide, full and wide. There's a deep backward point, deep extra cover, long off. Gets a dot. He goes short and wide.
That's a risky delivery from Wayne Parnell. And that gamble on this occasion has paid off. There's no fine leg. They've got a man just behind square in the ring. A deepwood wicket and a long on. It's the line that's vital. It's the line that's important with Wayne Parnell. It's a good execution. Brave ball in a crunch moment of the game.
Reload that. So the one that he got with the previous delivery, he's handed it back to the scoreboard.
Such fine margins this game.
Chris, so what happens here? Now that you're the bowler, be the bowler for me. Do you now almost dare not bowl the wide Yorker?
No, I feel you've got to stick with that. I mean, the execution was so close there. He's missed it by an inch. I mean, he executes that perfectly. Any bat on that goes straight to his field. So the field's set for the wide Yorker. Maybe a change of pace, but I'll stick to it.
6 of them. Captain Powell is righting the ship here for the West Indies. 1 to get with 4 deliveries left.
I said with the first ball of the over, it was a risky delivery. He gambled again, and Rothman Powell won this time. And he won big. That's an excellent cricket shot, short ball. And I tell you what, he's timed this absolutely beautifully onto the bank at Supersport Park.
Well, I thought the umpire got it right with the wide. I think it was a wide, even though Wayne Parnell clearly didn't, which is understandable. And I think you're right too. I think you have to stick with the plan, particularly as the field's set for it. They're all in now.
Rothman Powell has put his team on his shoulders and he's taken them across the line to the delight of the few West Indian fans here at Supersport Park in Centurion. On a dark, damp and rainy day, The West Indies take the opening contest. I dare not say T20 because it's T11. By 3 wickets to go 1-up in this 3-match series. Well played, Captain Powell.
It's a good idea, this T11.
The future of the game.
Just sounds better than T10 to me. You've seen a few and they've all been good, and this has been another, actually. You know, if you've hung on in the rain, hoping for some cricket, you've cheered when you've heard about a 4 o'clock start, and you've watched the 22 overs, that, well, nearly 22 overs that we've had tonight, you're going to be very pleased. That's great value for money. The players were dynamite. The occasion meant something. And West Indies have got up, which is no bad thing. See players play as well as they've done with the bat tonight. Didn't bowl as well as they can, but they've batted great, I think.
Absolutely, and what a privilege it was to watch some of the cricket shots we saw here today. The bowling, as we said, could have been a little bit better, but the crowd came out to watch some entertaining cricket and entertainment cricket. They got excellent knock from Rovman Pal, as you said, best leading from the front, and that's what you want from your captain.
Yeah, I would say for the West Indies bowling that it's only the last 2 overs of the game. Sheldon Cottrell went for 24 and Odean Smith went for 18. The previous night